Hi, this is Nima Jafari, and I'll be presenting our project phase one for computer 440 class. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we have the phase one project in our GitHub page, and we have the README files and everything. So everything here, if it's followed, then everything will be working. Um, I'll be presenting our group, actually group number six. So let's just take a look at the project on GitHub. I already have it locally, but I'm gonna read the README file to here to explain everything and also do the code and apply it on the right side. But first, since I want to have like uh, maybe a fresh start, I will just git clone this again uh, because it has things that needs to be changed. So, for example, environment or root access passwords that you have to enter in your own files. So those are not pushed into our GitHub. So let's do a git clone as git clone of our project. Uh, oh well, I have to do it in a different folder. I will do a git clone of our project here. Start fresh following the README file and explaining everything. Um, okay, so we have our project here. We just go into it and then I'll be just going over the README file, which is technically the presentation notes for me, just explaining exactly what we're doing and exactly what we did. So what's implemented is the MySQL schema of database having the name login info. Obviously, I made it so that you can change the name. There's a table of username, password, first name, last name, email, and phone. Constraints are primary key username, uniqueness have to be unique email, and phone as requested for the project. And it also has a least privileged DB database account. So the app users, let's call them Computer 440 user, would select and insert, so they don't have access to drop, alter, or delete, and works for both hosts, so local hosts or the uh, the other host that I use on my computer, but technically they're the same. So on any computer this works. I mean it's local. Um, so for the security, I have a SQL, Alchemy, or RM only, so no strings concatenated SQL, so it prevents the SQL injection. We have hash passwords. We generate hash passwords and the check hashed passwords. Uh, we have a server-side validation of length and email format, minimal phone normalization. We have environment-based secrets with .env and python.env, and we also have a Flask debug, but we have disabled it just for submission to show it. But I'll be showing it. So why this prevents SQL injection is that all the database operations, signing up, logging in, duplicate checks go through the SQL Alchemy ORM, which uses bound parameters. This blocks classic payloads like if you enter for the password any or r1 equals 1, like it does not, you're not allowed to change that. So the login code avoids SQL injection by only using SQL Alchemy or M operations that bind users input as parameters and never concatenating user input into raw SQL. So attacker strings like any or any other forms of insert are always treated as data, and they're never treated as executable SQL syntax. So we have this prevents SQL injection just by itself. But in addition to that, I thought that it would be good if we have at least privileged database user uh, limits. So using this limit, it impacts even if credentials leak, meaning that the database role created for the app is limited to select and insert on the user table. So if you're a user, you have a select and you're using a database, unless you're not a an admin that you will have the access to. But if you're not an admin, you're using the database as a user, you only are limited to the least privilege uh, uh, operations like select and insert. So even if a flaw appeared later, the account lacks privileges to read or modify unrelated tables or schema, aligning with the least privilege principles. So we have two things blocking the SQL injection. I mean, I believe that SQL Alchemy ORM by itself completely does that, but I also added the least privileged DB. I would like to say this is a group work, not only me. I would like to say I'm talking like that, but it's a group work. This is the layout that we have. The .environment file will be the file that you will be creating, and we just ask that we don't commit it to the GitHub. That's why it's not on our GitHub. You did the password and the database name in here, and then I also created a batch file that runs and executes the SQL file, initializes your database, and verifies it itself, so you don't have to actually open SQL shell and do all of that yourself. We also have templates for base, home, login, and sign up. The prerequisites are explained, so I'll be actually going through it like fresh, almost like a fresh start. These are the things you need. You need the admin access to your MySQL, obviously, and you need the MySQL installed, and you need the server to be running. So the first thing first, I will be opening a Git bash for myself. I already have the environment active, so all I have to do right now is that I have to pip install the requirements. These are requirements for the SQL and for the Python file to run everything. So SQL Alchemy here and the other requirements. So I have installed them, and then next thing is that you edit the initializing logging info.sql. So you go open the SQL file, and then here we see that we have to replace app passwords. Just for the security, this has not been uploaded with the password of your choice um, into the GitHub. Obviously, you should not put any passwords or API keys in there. So I'm just following the README file, changing the password of my uh, of the user I want. So it says that. Um, so I chose the password and then the DB name. So I choose that with, let's say, comp 440 project, and then I have to change all the instance of it in the SQL code. And this is our SQL file. So you can here see that we check for the unique user, the primary key is username, and the unique user email and user phone. And then we also flush the privileges, and also we grant only select and insert access to the users on our local host and the IP address here. Um, so everything here is, I changed it as I wanted to, and is all of the description is here for anyone new who wants to do it. I close it, and next thing I have to do is that I have to run the bat file. So the bat file makes it easy for us because I don't, I could go to the shell and manually enter the SQL file, but I can just run a bat file here that asks what is the database name I put. Let's check it again. I put a database name of computer 440 project. So I'm just gonna use that here. All right, and then um, it says admin username is default is root. Mine is root on my computer, but on everyone's computer is different. My password, I enter my root password, the admin password. Okay, and this is the verification that it's worked. Computer 440 user um, uh, is created and the database computer 440 project has been created, and the granting of the select and insert has been given to the user, and that's it. So we created our database, it's initialized. The next thing that we have to do is just follow this configure environment. So we have to create a .environment file. um, so on our GitHub link, on our in our folders in our files, I already put like an example one. All you have to do is that you have to change this that example to .environment. You create a .environment file, you go in there, and then uh, here you have to change the secret key. If you want to use flasks, then you would need to just put a very like a long secret key that doesn't even matter what it is. So I could just put a random one, just for a secret key to have it. But if you're not, but it's not really required. But here we have to change that the password we put. So the user we created was com440 user. The password we put in our SQL file was Nima1356. That's the one I chose. So I'm gonna put that here, and then I'm gonna see what database name I put here. So I'm gonna go and check my database name. It says here your DB name. You have to change it to the database name you chose in the SQL file and changed it. I find it, and where did it go? I find it, and then I also switch that here, and that's it. That's all I have to do. We just don't commit that to the version control. So that's all for now. And the next thing left is to you can either run it using the Flask on the command prompt, or you can just open the Python code and run it. Python login secure. I'm going to be running using the Python one. Both of them use Flask, so but the debug is turned off. Um, for the Flask, the debug is turned off, but we can still see the background of what happens. So I run the code, and so it gave me SQL access denied password. Computer user localhost using password. Oh, that's because I created I might have not entered the correct password in my database. Yes, that's because I did not save this. As you can see, I did not. In my .environment file, I did not put my password. I did not save it. So yeah. Okay, let's run that again. All right, as you can see, serving Flask, Python, debug mode is off, and it's running on this, the same as this one. You just open that, and I'm gonna bring it here. All right, so that is our login and our homepage. So we can now test it. We can now do a sign up. Let's just create an account here. We don't have any accounts on this website, so I want to test it. I want to say, okay, let's say MJ830916, for example. Use a random password. I'm gonna test if the passwords don't match. So I'm gonna enter a password that doesn't match. My name is Nima Jafari. I put my CSUN email. I put my phone number. 786. Just a random one. Yeah. And then I click sign up. And since my passwords don't match, I should be getting an error that passwords don't match. See, I clicked it. Passwords do not match. Okay, so I do it again. MJ830916. I make sure that my passwords match this time. Jafari. I put my CSUN email. I put my phone number. I sign up. Sign up successful. Please log in. Let's go back to sign up. Let's try to actually check this. I want to create another account. No, I want to create another account. Password doesn't matter, but I just make sure that they match. But I want to create another account with. Let's just for now. Let's say it's a totally different account, but the only difference is that I'm using the same username, right? And let's say I'm using a different phone number. So I use it, and then let's see what it tells me. Apparently, what should happen is that since I have the username already for that, I have a user with the same username, it should not let me. Username already exists, so it did not let me create an account. Okay, let's test something else. I choose another username that's different. I choose passwords that are so we check the passwords not matching. That gives us a prompt. It doesn't allow us to create an account. We saw that if we have duplicate usernames, we are not allowed to do it. And then another thing is that we are not allowed to have duplicate emails. So let's say that we have duplicate So this is a different username, different password. Forget about the name and last name, but we have the same email as the user I created initially. It should not allow me to create an account using the same email because it has to be unique. See, email already exists, so it didn't do it again. Okay, let's do another thing. Random username, just matching passwords. 356 1356. Username, let's say, put something random. Email, put something I never used before, and then now the phone number, use the same phone number as the initial account created already existing in the website. So we sign up, phone already exists, so it doesn't allow me. That means that so everything here for creating an account worked as requested by the for the project by the professor. So now we work. I want to log into my um, account that I created, right? And I know the password. It's the password I created. Just log in. It logs me in. Welcome, and then that's it. I don't want to save it. So I log out again. I want to log in. Um, I use my credentials, but now I use a different password. It doesn't allow me to. So right now, let's try to say uh, like a SQL injection, like insert uh, one, for example. See, invalid user and password because it's acting as if any data I'm creating or is inserting here is a data. It's not doesn't go to my SQL code. So that's pretty much it. If I just sign in with the account I created, I still have the account. I can still go to the home page and I can still log out, and I can still sign up with other accounts. I can just let's make a totally different account, MJ830 and then 1356 full name, uh, let's say Daniel, and then email. Let's choose another one of my emails that I didn't use before, and another phone number I never used before. Then I can still. Oh, my passwords didn't match. So I create a username. I just make sure that the passwords match this time. Use Daniel KKK, different email, and it actually tells you that you need to have an at slineemail.com, so you cannot enter like a random email, like or like something that is not an email. And it still tells me there should be something following the at, so I can say at gmail.com. Put a phone number I never used before and sign up successful, and I can log in successfully. So that's pretty much it. The troubleshooting, I've included the troubleshooting in the README file. If your SQL is not working, you can look into this and turn on the debug mode probably. So, and then some of the notes are that we have a functional login sign up with hash passwords, no plain text. We have a unique constraint enforced at DB level, and we have NORA SQL ORM only queries. We have SQL injection prevented with parameter binding, and we have least privileged database credentials and secrets kept in .environment that the person who clones this project has to change it for themselves. So that's it. The project phase 1, COM 440 for team number 6.